Guys, I'm Phil, and this is my lovely co-host, Samantha.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel.
We got more Metallica on the channel, and that's never a bad sign, especially for Samantha, because she said it's one of her favorite heavy metal groups.
I liked the last one that we did a lot.
From Metallica?
Yeah.
You have to specify that. So I said heavy metal. So maybe they
the
got
last
it.
Metallica one I thought was cool. Yeah, I mean, our journey with heavy metal has been interesting because we have those groups that are...
So hold on, before you go there. The last one that we did was one.
Yes, I liked that one a lot.
She enjoyed that.
It was stuck in my head for like a really long time.
So continue. Sorry, what were you saying?
But one thing I will say, and guys don't hate on me, is that I found with one, I really like the song, but I feel like the video just distracted me a lot. Like the video is great, but there was just so much going on that I felt like I couldn't fully appreciate the song because I was so visually stimulated. And like, I'm a very visual person, so that will always like kind of take over my senses first. But then when Phil was playing it one day and I wasn't watching the video, I was like, I really like it just like from all of the musical elements. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, you're not alone. There was people in the comment section that were saying the same thing, that you couldn't really experience the entirety of the song because not just the video, there was also the overlay of the story in there. So it doesn't just allow you to appreciate the song. So anyways, you generally, though, you've liked Metallica thus far. It was also the first group that we had done on the channel as a whole for heavy metal. We did Master of Puppets.
Yeah, and also there was, the songs in there that I actually had some familiarity with that, I never really knew that I did. I think that I had heard, oh my God, why can't I think of the Sandman, Enter Sandman? Like, I think my older cousins had listened to that a little bit when I was younger. So
we've got a playlist now for Metallica. So if you're interested in checking out our other videos, we've got those. We're now getting into Nothing Else Matters. And actually the reason why we came across this one is because somebody had requested the voice play version of Nothing Else Matters.
Yes, and we were like, we don't know what the original sounds like.
Right,
so.
and we like to check out Metallica, and I think this is a pretty popular song of theirs. I actually think it has over 1 billion views on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. So clearly it's a part of their catalog, that has a lot of hits. I mean, we've gone through a lot of Metallica so far. I mean, not a lot. I mean, you guys are going to be like, okay,
you still have tons to go through.
8 tracks, bro. That's not even a full album. But that said, they have a lot of really popular songs.
Yes.
And in the heavy metal category, I was a little bit surprised to see how popular they were, because it's not something you think of like a pop record or something like that, where it's going to hit the mainstream as much. But clearly they have, just a strong fan base.
Yeah.
So Nothing Else Matters is next on the list. You ready to check it out?
I am. Let's do it.
No, we're not. What did we forget?
Oh, we have a pop quiz question for you guys. Sorry, that's my job and I forgot. So we want to know if you guys know, in 2013, Metallica set a world record for performing. What was it?
Yeah. In terms of performing,
what
was that world record that they set?
Yeah,
Stick around.
Really impressive, too.
Yeah, stick around to the end of the video. We'll let you know. Enough with the chit-chat. Let's go, Metallica. Much different Metallica thus far.
Yeah, this is a completely different vibe.
Close, no matter how far. Couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trusting who we are, and nothing else matters. Never opened myself this way. Life is ours, we live it our way. Hold these words I don't just say, and nothing else matters. Trust I seek and I find in you. Every day for us something new. Open mind for a different view. And nothing else matters. Never care for what they do. Never care for what they know. But I know so close, no matter how far. It couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trusting who we are, and nothing else matters. Never cared for what they do. Never cared for what they know. But I know.
All right, we'll rewind it and start that off again.
This is very different.
Tell me about it. How is it different, Sam? Just a tad bit different than what we've listened to thus far. Please elaborate.
Well, I mean, like, obviously this isn't really like that heavy metal sound that they usually have at
This
all.
isn't Metallica that I know.
Yeah, I mean, it still sounds very nice. It's just very different.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying this is so vastly different in terms of the heaviness, obviously, of the song. So soft, literally, in terms of the delivery of the instrumentation and also the delivery of the message. We go from something like One, where we're talking about a guy that's been paralyzed, and it's from the repercussions of war. And in this, it's like completely expressing vulnerability of love, and trusting and providing that trust into somebody that you care about. And so from the perspective of the song as a whole, it is so different than what I've ever heard thus far on our journey with Metallica.
Yeah, I think it's cool though, because it shows their versatility, right? Like, I feel like a lot of the other stuff that we've listened to, while it is all very creatively different, it all fits within that niche of like that kind of thrash heavy metal kind of sound, whereas like this is so different. And like I said, I still think this sounds really great. So I think it's cool that they can, take themselves out of that box and try something different and still do a very good job at it.
Yeah, and obviously, it's not driven by a heavy riff or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
It's got this sound that's got the acoustic vibe and feel to it, and that obviously sets the tone for what a lot of Metallica sounds are, high energy, and it's like the complete opposite of the spectrum, like you said, showing their diversity. But I am interested, and you guys can let us know in those comments how this plays into, what the fans felt about this song.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess if you are like a large fan of them and their normal sound, this probably would have thrown them off guard a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this would be a song, when the album came out, that you would have just skipped over if you were a fan of theirs, if this was something very unique and a fresh sound from them that people really enjoyed.
Yeah.
To me, I'm enjoying a different perspective from Metallica, but I think generally speaking, we have an open mind when we approach a lot of music now, because we've been introduced to so much. But sometimes when you're a hardcore fan of a group or an artist and they go outside their normal sound, you're like, I don't like this. Just stick to what you do well.
Yeah.
And so I'd be interested. Sorry,
I was going to say, on the flip side, though, it could have also brought new fans in of people that, maybe didn't give them a chance in the very beginning because of that harsher sound. And then they heard this and they were like, oh, well, maybe I should give them a little bit more of a chance.
Yeah. It could have also been a commercialized aspect, right? This might have been something that would have been, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that they got super popular from a heavy metal perspective. This might have been something that allowed them to contribute more to the mainstream because it was a softer sound and it was more radio friendly, something like that.
Yeah.
And it does have obviously a lot of streams, like I said, on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that could be factoring into exactly what you were mentioning there. It might have drawn in some people that wouldn't have been exposed to Metallica, and then then they heard some of their other harder stuff, and they enjoyed that still because it's still musically complex, right? We've mentioned many times before that some of the thrash metal or heavy metal that we've done almost has a classical vibe to it in terms of the composition of it. So,
the complexity.
Introducing some of this new audience from this song to some of the other stuff may have been beneficial.
Yeah, for sure. Opens them up a little bit to a wider audience.
All right. Well, let's go into this little solo that they were about to pop into.
Myself this way. Life is ours, we live it our way. Hold these words I don't just say, and nothing else matters. Trust I seek and I find in you. Every day for us something new. Open mind for a different view, and nothing else matters. Never cared for what they say, never cared for games they play, never cared for what they do, never cared for what they know. And I
So, what are your thoughts, Samantha, after the back half?
I think I feel pretty much the same as I did when we stopped. Like, I think it's really cool that they're doing something different. And like I said, that they put themselves, out of their comfort zone to do this. And I also found the visuals really cool. Like, I know I mentioned at the beginning of this that I'm a visual person, right? So I think it was kind of cool to see some behind the scenes footage of them in the studio and, working on their projects and stuff. That was cool.
And for me, I would say I was really, really impressed, actually. The second half that made me appreciate the song, I think, quite a bit more. Just the intricacies. It was interesting that they had almost this blues sound that they mixed with the metal sound, which I don't know if I've ever heard before. So obviously that's very unique in itself. Also, that you know, the way they played on the vocal, you know, they had different sections of the song where it had a harsher vocal and then where he kind of toned it down a little bit. And then towards the end, it was so subtle.
Yeah.
And that played into some of the music. And then they still added in some of that harder, a little bit of harder solo sound. I thought that was actually a really sick solo for the song.
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't super, super harsh, but it was harsh enough that it was Metallica related.
And it still stood out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was very, very cool. And I actually really liked the song. I thought it was catchy as well. I found myself just really getting into the rhythm and the groove.
Yeah, it definitely had a very nice like melodic kind of flow to it.
Yes, and I found towards, you know, like I said, the second half of it, I was like, okay, I could see myself listening to this pretty frequently, you know, because it's got such a great, you know, transition from one section to the next that it keeps you really enthralled throughout the entire song, but in a different way than you're accustomed to. And so it's kind of like you're going on this roller coaster, but you don't know where you're going yet.
Yeah, and one thing that I liked about this too is that not that his vocal always sounds great, but I feel like this allowed his vocal to stand out a little bit more because there wasn't as much in-depth instrumentation in the background, right? Because it was a little bit more subtle, a little bit more melodic.
Yep.
You could really, you know, appreciate his vocal, I feel like, in this a little bit more because, you know, the other songs are great, but there's just so much going on that sometimes it can all get like, you know, get a little bit overwhelmed, where in this, it just really was kind of sitting in the front, I felt like, and everything else was kind of like in the background.
Yeah, it was a very cool song. So that makes 2 for 2 now. And the last one that we did in one and in this one that were very, very different than what we had experienced.
We liked both of them
thus far. And yeah, it was great, showing, you know, their ability to, as you alluded to, you know, make vastly different sounds. And that's obviously attributed to their capabilities as musicians. So.
For sure. And we have that quiz answer for you guys.
And the question was, in 2013, Metallica set a world record related to performing. Now, Samantha, what was that?
They performed in all 7 continents, including Antarctica, in 1 year.
Within 1 year, they were the first artists to do that. So.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like, that's a lot of different performances in different places.
I don't know how many people have performed on Antarctica as in general. So
yeah, I'm like, is there even a lot of people there? Like, who are they performing to? Like the polar bears? Well,
it probably was one of those things where we're going to have a show in Antarctica and you could buy tickets to go see it. And it's this once in a lifetime experience, right? I don't think people actually live in Antarctica, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not an expert on it. And I think actually a neat fact about Antarctica is that like it's owned by everybody.
Huh.
I think everybody's agreed to like,
it's just like neutral territory for everybody to
like there's certain sections that apparently people have claimed, but everybody's like, okay, we'll just leave it alone.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
But given the state of the world and obviously the constant need for resources, who knows where that's going to go to. Maybe that's where the aliens are. Who knows?
The aliens.
Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed our reaction. Hit the like button for us. Leave us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts on the song. As I said in the reaction, if there are things about this that people didn't like, if they did like it, if thought it was a great switch up, let us know in those comments.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. That'll make sure that YouTube notifies you when we drop something new, and that's every single day. We drop 2 videos, so you don't want to miss anything.
Yep.
Make sure you hit those buttons and come back for our next one.
Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.